Terry Crews, Tichina Arnold, Tequan Richmond, Amani Hakeem, and Tyler James Williams were the family cast on the 2005 show Everybody Hates Chris. All of these actors gained many fans throughout the show, but one in particular stood out: Tyler James Williams, who played Chris, the main character. His image became closely associated with the character to the point where many of his fans mistook him for Chris. Even though fans are just trying to show affection, Tyler James Williams doesn't appreciate that kind of recognition. And recently the situation has escalated to a new phase where all the fans that Tyler James Williams gained from the show have now turned against him. Right now, there are more than 5 million people on social media protesting how angry they are with Tyler's actions. Everybody Hates Chris, which ran from 2005 to 2009, was a sitcom inspired by the life of Chris Rock. The show was a great success and gained fans worldwide. Chris Rock had a poor childhood as a black child in the 1980s, and in a funny manner on the show highlighted the difficulties he faced, addressing topics such as racism and the dangers of growing up in Brooklyn. Behind all the funny situations, the show depicted the harsh reality experienced by many Afro-Americans. Among sitcoms that portrayed white families in the American dream and sitcoms that portrayed black families, much of the original context was lost when these shows were sold to other countries and revoiced to other idioms. Everybody Hates Chris was translated to Portuguese to be aired in Brazil. The show was on TV, playing almost in a loop on one of the most important channels. The jokes worked very well and the audience fell in love with the characters and their catchphrases. The reason for this success is that Brazil is somewhat outside this cultural and racial division between blacks and whites. Brazil is a huge country with a population of over 200 million people of all ethnicities living in the same neighborhoods. However, despite this, Brazil is a country with serious economic problems, and many people identify with the situations in the show, such as the character Julius, who works 2 jobs and is extremely concerned about expenses he deems excessive.
That's 49 cents of spilt milk dripping all over my table. Somebody gonna drink this milk.
Situations in which the characters found themselves in need of money to pay a bill, buy new shoes, a household appliance, or even the fear of a neighborhood known for high crime rates, resonated with Brazilians in a tragicomic way, whether they were black or white. The main character, as the show's name suggests, was the one who experienced the most uncomfortable situations. It seemed like all the bad luck in the world was channeled towards him. In addition to having to take responsibility for the misbehavior of his younger siblings, he suffered bullying at school and lacked the confidence to attract the girls he was interested in. His only friend was a white boy named Greg, who was the typical nerd who liked comics and video games but would escape whenever the bully shows up, leaving Chris alone. After the show, Tyler James continued his career, making appearances in other projects such as Lab Rats, Replay, and The Walking Dead. However, he wasn't ready to deal with the consequences of international success.
Os brasileiros amam o Chris, só que esta semana eles conseguiram irritar o ídolo.
O ator não gostou do excesso de recados, brincadeiras e piadas sobre ele das redes sociais. E aí ele reagiu.
While Everybody Hates Chris saw its time pass in the United States and began to fade from the memories of Americans, the sitcom continued to thrive in Brazil due to all the reruns. With the rise of social media, people saw the opportunity to connect with famous individuals they had only seen on TV. Tyler's Instagram was quickly flooded with comments from Brazilian fans who didn't speak in English. All they did was replicate funny quotes from the show, often adapted to the context of the post. If Tyler published a picture with a beautiful woman, Brazilian fans would comment the quote from the show, "Dude, you're so in there," in which Greg, Chris's friend, mistakenly thought the girls were falling in love with Chris. At first, Tyler tried to play it cool, considering the comments were from people who liked his work. However, over time, as he realized that people weren't getting tired of the jokes and new comments kept, he started to feel uncomfortable. Perhaps it was the possibility that so many comments in Portuguese could affect his image for new contracts, as someone without the context may consider them as engagement bots. There is also a fear shared by all the actors, which is the fear of being remembered only as characters. In despair, Tyler asked fans to stop commenting. It became national news in Brazil.
Todo mundo odeia o Chris. Tem 10 anos a série, mas está sendo reprisada e o telespectador da TV aberta conhece esse Tyler, né? Então ele está conversando e fazendo piada com esse Tyler. Claro que para um estrangeiro é difícil entender esse nosso comportamento.
As a final measure, he decided to block comments on all his posts. This obviously left a bad impression on those who admired him and believed that the comments were just playful with no intention of harassing him. This was further accentuated since fans also made the same comments on the social media of other actors from the show, like Terry Crews and Tashina Arnold, and they didn't mind. Quite the opposite, they loved their Brazilian fans. Tashina Arnold even appreciates this recognition, even though some Brazilians think she really is Rochelle.
That you have a ginormous fan base in another country. Where is that?
Brazil!
Do you go to Brazil often?
I've been there 4 times.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Why do you go there so often?
Because I'm a star there.
You're a star here, too.
They love me. They really love me.
Brazil! You guys are amazing. Here I come! Hello, Brazil! Oops! I'm in Egypt!
When I first went on, all of a sudden, all of these followers from Brazil, Mr. Senorita Morello.
Oh,
and,
my
and
gosh.
so I learned how to say obrigado. But I've gotten like really lovely, and then some like, okay, I'm not giving you my shoe size messages.
However, something unusual happened recently. Vincent Marcella, who portrayed Greg Wooliger, posted a picture on Instagram wearing a shirt that said he was famous in Brazil as a sort of response to people who claimed his career wasn't going well and that he hadn't done anything significant apart from being a voice actor in Phineas and Ferb. Brazilian fans got his back, and there was a massive surge in feedback overnight. His follower count went from 200,000 followers to 5 million followers in just 1 week.
Everyone in Brazil right now is asking me to watch Everybody Hates Chris in Portuguese, and I gotta say, I sound pretty good.
What's particularly curious about all this is that many fans didn't like Vincent Marcella's character. The fact that Greg managed to escape bad situations by abandoning Chris was not something that left the character with a good impression. And now, just like in the episode where Chris skipped school to go to the movies and missed the visit of a famous artist at school, Tyler gradually turned down his fans and is now regretting it.